Ladies and gentlemen, I want to speak to you today about a subject that each and every one of us will encounter in life: how to handle people who don't respect you. There will be moments when others fail to recognize your worth, when they undermine your value, or when they treat you in ways that are hurtful. But let me tell you something: the way you respond to this disrespect will define your future. You are not the product of what people think of you. You are the product of how you handle yourself in those situations. The first key to handling people who don't respect you is to truly know your worth. This principle forms the foundation of your ability to rise above the negative behaviors of others. Too often we look for validation outside of ourselves, relying on others to affirm our value. We seek respect, appreciation, and acknowledgement from people, hoping that their recognition will define who we are. However, this external validation is fleeting and unreliable, and when it isn't given, we are left feeling diminished or even worthless. The truth is, your worth is intrinsic, not dependent on what anyone else thinks of you. You must understand that your value is determined by your own beliefs and by the understanding you have of who you are. Your worth is not negotiable. It is not subject to the whims of others or influenced by their approval or rejection. No one has the power to define you unless you give them that power. When you understand your worth, you stop looking for validation from people who may not see your value. People who don't respect you often do so because they either fail to recognize your worth or because they are not capable of appreciating it. Their inability to see you for who you are doesn't diminish your value, it only reflects their limited perspective. Your value is inherent, and it stands firm regardless of others' opinions. You must internalize that your worth is constant, and it does not fluctuate based on someone else's behavior toward you. Knowing your worth is not just about understanding that you are valuable, it is also about realizing that you have something to offer the world. Your unique talents, experiences, and qualities are what set you apart, and they cannot be taken away or diminished by anyone. Your life has purpose, and your contribution matters. When you carry this knowledge in your heart, you begin to approach others with a sense of confidence that is unshakable. This sense of confidence is vital when it comes to handling disrespect. When people fail to respect you, they often do so because they perceive weakness or a lack of self-assurance. But when you walk with the knowledge of your worth, it becomes impossible for others to devalue you. You are not easily swayed by their words or actions because you know that they do not have the authority to shape your identity. Their opinions may sting, but they cannot alter who you are or what you bring to the table. In moments of disrespect, remember that the issue lies with the other person's inability to see your value, not with your actual worth. Their actions may be an attempt to diminish you, to make you feel small or insignificant. But the truth is, they cannot take away your worth unless you allow it. If you place your self-worth in the hands of others, you give them the power to control how you feel about yourself. But when you establish that your value comes from within, no one can shake it. Knowing your worth means you will no longer tolerate mistreatment or abuse. When you recognize your inherent value, you demand to be treated accordingly. This doesn't mean you seek conflict or confrontation, but it means you refuse to accept less than what you deserve. It empowers you to set boundaries, to stand up for yourself, and to walk away from situations where your worth is not acknowledged. Your value is a standard, not something up for debate or negotiation. When you know your worth, you stop seeking external approval and start living from a place of internal security. You become less vulnerable to the opinions of others because you are grounded in the knowledge of who you are. This inner knowing shields you from the impact of disrespect and allows you to navigate relationships and encounters with a sense of strength and clarity. Responding with dignity is one of the most powerful ways to handle people who don't respect you. When faced with disrespect, there is often a temptation to react impulsively, either to retaliate in anger or to engage in a battle of words. This reaction may feel satisfying in the moment, but it usually only escalates the situation and lowers your own standards. Retaliating with disrespect or hostility does not elevate your position. Rather, it drags you down to the same level as the person who has wronged you. The key to maintaining your integrity is to rise above the negativity and respond with dignity, even when others fail to show you respect. To respond with dignity means to maintain your composure and to remain grounded in your values. It requires emotional intelligence and the ability to control your reactions, especially in moments when your emotions are being triggered. This does not mean suppressing your feelings, but rather choosing a higher path, one that reflects your values rather than your impulses. When someone disrespects you, you have the power to choose how you respond, and responding with dignity allows you to maintain control over your actions and your emotions. When you react with dignity, you are asserting your strength without engaging in conflict. You refuse to allow someone else's negative behavior to dictate your mood or your response. You don't stoop to their level, and you don't let their disrespect define how you behave. Instead, you show them that you are above petty arguments, that you do not need to engage in drama or negativity to prove your point. This response demonstrates a maturity and self-respect that others cannot help but recognize. It's important to remember that dignity comes from within. It is not dependent on how others treat you, but on how you choose to treat yourself and others, even in the face of mistreatment. Responding with dignity does not mean passively accepting disrespect or allowing others to walk all over you. It means handling the situation with grace, taking the high road, and not allowing the actions of others to lower your standards. You can stand firm without becoming combative. You can speak your truth without aggression. You can assert yourself without belittling others. By doing so, you set a standard for how you expect to be treated, and you demonstrate your own sense of self-worth. In practice, responding with dignity may look like calmly walking away from a situation where disrespect is being shown. It may involve speaking your mind in a composed manner, explaining how you feel and why their actions are unacceptable, without raising your voice or resorting to insults. It may also mean choosing silence over confrontation. Sometimes saying nothing at all sends a clearer message than words ever could. Regardless of the method, the goal is to handle the situation in a way that aligns with your values and maintains your sense of self-respect. One of the most powerful aspects of responding with dignity is that it allows you to keep your peace. When you engage in a conflict or allow yourself to be drawn into an argument, you are giving away your peace of mind. But when you respond with dignity, you are choosing to protect your emotional well-being. You are not allowing the actions of others to disturb your inner peace or to make you feel less than who you are. This creates a sense of calm strength that others will not only notice but may even respect. When you maintain your dignity in the face of disrespect, you also show others that their behavior does not affect you in the way they might expect. You demonstrate that you are not dependent on their approval or their mistreatment. You stand tall, unshaken, and unapologetic for who you are. This strength of character is something that can never be taken away from you, and it will ultimately inspire respect in those who may have initially disrespected you. Responding with dignity is about taking responsibility for your own actions and emotions, no matter how others behave. It is about holding yourself to a higher standard and refusing to let external circumstances dictate your internal peace. It is a mark of true strength and character. Setting boundaries is an essential way to protect yourself from the harmful effects of people who do not respect you. Boundaries are not just about saying no to others, they are about protecting your mental, emotional, and physical well-being. When you allow others to cross your boundaries, you are not only tolerating disrespect, but you are also sending the message that you are willing to accept mistreatment. Setting clear, firm boundaries ensures that you are taking responsibility for your own well-being and that you are not sacrificing your peace for the sake of others. Boundaries help you define what is acceptable and what is not. They establish limits that protect your personal space, time, and energy. Without boundaries, you become vulnerable to being taken advantage of, manipulated, or disrespected. People who do not respect you will often try to push those boundaries, testing how far they can go. If you do not have clear boundaries in place, they will keep crossing them, believing that there are no consequences. But when you set boundaries, you are telling others that you value yourself enough to protect your own space. Setting boundaries is not about being rigid or unapproachable. It's about understanding what you need to maintain your emotional and mental health and being clear about communicating those needs. You don't have to explain your boundaries in great detail or justify them. You simply need to express what you are comfortable with and make it clear what behavior will not be tolerated. When you do this, you are giving others the opportunity to respect your limits, and in doing so, you are respecting yourself. One of the most important aspects of setting boundaries is consistency. It is not enough to say what you will or will not tolerate. You must follow through with actions that support your words. If you allow someone to repeatedly cross a boundary without consequences, they will begin to believe that your boundaries are not serious. If you say you won't accept disrespect but continue to tolerate it, you are teaching others that your words don't hold value. Consistency in upholding your boundaries reinforces your respect for yourself and teaches others how they should treat you. Setting boundaries can be difficult, especially if you are accustomed to accommodating others at the expense of your own needs. People who don't respect you may push back, trying to guilt you into compromising or making you feel selfish for asserting your needs. But it is important to remember that setting boundaries is not selfish, it is an act of self-care. It is an essential step in maintaining healthy relationships, not just with others, but with yourself. You cannot be the best version of yourself if you are constantly sacrificing your well-being for others' comfort. Sometimes setting boundaries means walking away from situations or relationships that consistently disregard your needs. If someone refuses to respect your boundaries, you must have the strength to walk away and protect your peace. Letting go of toxic relationships can be one of the most difficult decisions you make, but it is often necessary for your own growth and well-being. If someone continually disrespects you, it may be a sign that they are not the right person to have in your life. Setting boundaries helps you to recognize when it is time to let go and move forward, even if that means distancing yourself from people who do not honor your worth. In addition to protecting you from mistreatment, boundaries also allow you to have a clearer sense of your own needs and desires. When you set boundaries, you are better able to prioritize what matters to you and focus on your goals and values. Boundaries help you maintain a sense of balance in your life by ensuring that you are not overextended or overwhelmed by the demands of others. They allow you to be present in your own life, to nurture your personal growth, and to cultivate the relationships that are most important to you. Setting boundaries can be challenging, but it is one of the most empowering things you can do for yourself. It is an act of self-respect and self-preservation. The more clearly and consistently you set your boundaries, the more you teach others to treat you with respect. Boundaries are not walls to isolate you from others. They are essential tools that protect your peace and enable you to live a more fulfilling life. Leading by example is one of the most powerful ways to handle people who don't respect you. It is easy to respond to disrespect with anger or to get caught up in the emotions of the moment. But the most effective way to inspire respect is by showing others how you expect to be treated through your own actions. You have the ability to lead others not through force or confrontation, but through the integrity and character you display in every interaction. When you embody the values and principles you stand for, you create an environment where people are more likely to respect you. Your actions speak louder than your words. People watch how you handle difficult situations, how you treat others, and how you carry yourself in the face of adversity. You may not realize it, but every action you take sets an example for those around you. When you show respect, kindness, and integrity in your own behavior, You set a standard for how others should treat you. In many cases, your example will inspire others to elevate their own behavior, reflecting the values you consistently demonstrate. One of the most important aspects of leading by example is that it helps you maintain your own integrity. When you lead with consistency, aligning your actions with your values, you create a sense of internal peace that comes from knowing you are staying true to yourself. You don't have to explain your worth or defend your actions when you lead with authenticity. The way you conduct yourself becomes a silent but powerful statement that speaks for you without you needing to say a word. Leading by example also means showing respect for others, even when they don't show it to you. It can be tempting to respond to disrespect with disrespect with disrespect, to engage in a battle of words or actions. However, this only perpetuates the cycle of negativity and lowers you to the level of those who disrespected you in the first place. By choosing to respond with grace, patience, and understanding, you set a higher standard for how others should behave. Even if others do not immediately recognize the impact of your behavior, it leaves a lasting impression, and over time it can inspire them to reflect on their own actions. When you lead by example, you also teach others how to treat you. People often act based on what they perceive as acceptable. If you tolerate disrespect or allow others to treat you poorly without saying anything, you are unintentionally teaching them that such behavior is acceptable. On the other hand, when you set boundaries, communicate your values clearly, and consistently behave in ways that reflect respect for yourself and others, you establish a standard for how people will treat you. Your actions set the tone for how you expect to be treated, and when you embody that standard, others are more likely to follow suit. Another crucial element of leading by example is that it gives you the power to influence others without exerting force or control. Leadership is not about having authority or trying to impose your will on others. It is about inspiring people through your own example. When you act with dignity, respect, and kindness, you encourage those around you to rise to those same standards. You become a role model, not through what you tell others to do, but through the way you live your life. Leading by example also creates a sense of consistency and stability in your relationships. When people see that your behavior aligns with your values, they begin to trust you and respect you more. Trust is built on consistency, and when you consistently demonstrate integrity in every interaction, you foster an environment where respect can thrive. You become someone who can be relied upon to act with fairness, honesty, and consideration, regardless of the circumstances. Leading by example allows you to remain in control of your reactions. When you respond to disrespect by maintaining your composure and adhering to your principles, you are not allowing others to dictate your behavior. You are not letting their actions control your emotional state. Instead, you are leading from a place of inner strength, showing others that your sense of self-worth is not dependent on their treatment of you. This not only commands respect, but it also empowers you to stay true to who you are, no matter the challenges you face. Through your actions, you have the power to influence those around you, to set the tone for how others interact with you, and to create a positive environment where respect and understanding can flourish. Leading by example is not just a passive way to handle disrespect, it is a proactive approach that creates a ripple effect, inspiring others to rise to higher standards and recognize your inherent value. Knowing when to walk away is one of the most important tools you can use to handle people who don't respect you. It can be difficult to recognize when it's time to let go, especially if you have invested time, energy, or emotions into a relationship or situation. We often hold on to toxic environments or relationships out of fear of confrontation or because we believe that with time things will improve. However, sometimes the greatest act of strength is knowing when to remove yourself from a situation that continuously disrespects you. Walking away is not about giving up, but about protecting your peace and maintaining your sense of self-respect. One of the first things to understand about walking away is that it is not an act of weakness. Many people associate walking away with failure or with admitting defeat. They see it as abandoning a cause or giving up on a relationship. However, walking away from a situation that consistently disrespects you is a sign of strength, not weakness. It takes courage to acknowledge when something is no longer serving you and to make the decision to leave. It takes strength to prioritize your well-being over the opinions or demands of others. Walking away is not about running from conflict. It is about choosing not to engage in a battle that you know will only drain you. When you are constantly faced with disrespect, it is important to remember that you cannot change other people's behavior, but you can control how you respond to it. If you find yourself in a situation where your value is being constantly undermined, where your boundaries are repeatedly violated, or where you are not being treated in a way that aligns with your principles, walking away is the most empowering thing you can do for yourself. It is an acknowledgement that you refuse to let others determine your worth, and you are not willing to remain in environments that diminish your self-esteem. Walking away also means letting go of the fear of losing people or opportunities. Many people stay in toxic situations because they fear the unknown or feel that they cannot afford to walk away. Whether it's out of fear of losing a job, a friendship, or even a romantic relationship, the fear of loss can often keep people trapped in situations that are unhealthy for them. But the truth is, staying in a situation where you are disrespected and undervalued is often more damaging than the potential loss of those things. When you walk away, you create space for something better to enter your life. Letting go of the people or situations that drain you makes room for new opportunities, relationships, and experiences that align with your values and help you grow. When you walk away from disrespect, you are not simply removing yourself from the situation, but you are also making a statement. You are communicating to the people around you that you value yourself and your peace. By choosing to leave, you send a clear message that you will not tolerate being treated poorly, and you will not remain in situations where your worth is not recognized. This statement reinforces the boundaries you have set and teaches others how to treat you. It shows that you are committed to maintaining your integrity and will not compromise your self-respect for the sake of keeping the peace or holding on to a toxic relationship. Walking away is often necessary for your emotional and mental health. Constant exposure to disrespect, negativity, or toxic behavior can take a significant toll on your well-being. It can erode your self-esteem, cause anxiety, and leave you feeling drained. When you allow yourself to remain in such situations, you are allowing that negativity to impact your peace of mind. Sometimes the best thing you can do for yourself is to remove yourself from a harmful environment and give yourself the space to heal and rejuvenate. In addition to protecting your mental health, walking away allows you to regain control over your life. When you are in a situation where you are disrespected, you are often at the mercy of others' behavior, unable to fully control your emotions or the direction of the relationship. Walking away gives you the power to take back control, to reclaim your sense of self, and to make choices that align with your needs and values. Walking away is also about recognizing that not every relationship or situation is meant to last forever. Sometimes people enter our lives for a season, and other times they stay for a lifetime. But not all relationships are meant to be maintained, especially when they cause harm or disrespect. Understanding when it's time to walk away frees you from holding on to what is no longer serving you, allowing you to focus on what truly matters and what contributes to your growth and happiness. Walking away is a choice that reflects your commitment to self-respect and well-being. It is a decision to prioritize your peace, your values, and your future over the negative influences of those who do not appreciate or respect you. It is a powerful step toward reclaiming your life and choosing to create an environment where you can thrive.